Hello and welcome to the Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm Peter Lavelle. We're going to give you an update of what's going on in Nagorno-Karabakh. Of course, the Gaggle is turning to Dmitry Babich, our go-to guy on the topic, and many, many others. Dima, let's talk about where we are right now. We've had two ceasefires that were brokered in Moscow. They quickly fell apart. We had a similar arrangement done in Washington. It doesn't appear to be holding. There are news reports that Azerbaijan is making some inroads, ever so slightly, but those are reports that I've come across. At the same time, we have to remind our viewers that Russia does have a military base, one of the few foreign military bases Russia has in the world. And those troops have remained in their barracks. The signal that Moscow is not going to get involved, at least in that way, using troops. We also know that Armenia does have some sophisticated missiles. They haven't used them. And then to finish up on our update here, Azerbaijan is using drones apparently from Turkey that are quite deadly. Where do we stand? Go ahead.
Well, the latest tragic figures came from President Putin, who estimated the losses already suffered by Armenia and Azerbaijan. For us, both of these countries are important, and we bemoan the fact that people are dying. So Putin said 5,000 people, and this sounded tragic to us. And of course, in this situation,
and
Trump...
are most of them civilians?
Well, mostly military, but some civilians too, and on both sides again, because Armenia also responds by bombarding some of the Azerbaijani towns and even cities. When there were strikes at Ganja, it's the second largest city in Azerbaijan. So for them, it's like for us if someone started bombarding St. Petersburg. And on this tragic background, of course, Trump's and Pompeo's attitudes are frivolous, to put it mildly. I mean, let me quote you what Trump said at the meeting in New Hampshire. Look at Armenia, they're incredible people, they're fighting like hell. Yesterday in Ohio, we had a tremendous group of Armenians with the flags and the spirit and the problems that they have, the deaths, the fighting. We'll get that sorted out. I called it an easy one. If you know what you're doing, it's easy. Well, I mean, this is, of course, comic and stupid and tragically stupid, I would say. On the other hand, I would not overestimate the chances, the abilities of Democrats, because with Trump, it's naivete, With the Democrats, it's a system of sustained lies. I mean, the articles that we recently had in the Washington Post, again, repeating the same things, why is Trump not rude to Putin? He must be in cahoots with Putin. Why has Trump not used, the full potential of our foreign policy, our wise foreign policy? In the footnotes, I add, this wise foreign policy, which led to the wars in Ukraine, in Syria, in Libya, these great professionals under Obama, somehow stupid Trump has not started a single war, So I prefer listening to stupidities like the one we just heard from New Hampshire to having a system of sustained lies, which we have on the other side. But you are right on the weapons. I would say that right now both sides are showing restraint. They are not using all their weapons, but there are some alarming signs. During the previous war, which ended in 1994, I remember very well, there were interviews which Haidar Aliyev gave, where he basically described that they were interacting with the Armenian president, with Robert Kocharian, during the conflict. When cities were besieged and there was a need to create a humanitarian corridor, they called each other, they stopped the troops, they saved lives in this way. Unfortunately, between Pashinyan and Aliyev, this system is not working. Mr. Aliyev has said that, I'm quoting, Pashinyan has been dancing drunken in Shusha, which is, of course, not acceptable for the Armenian side. On the Armenian side, Pashinyan behaves as an inexperienced politician, a typical product of a color revolution. Basically, when he called on all Armenians to stand up and fight, defend the motherland, take the weapons. I'm sorry, this sounds very romantic, but this is pretty irresponsible. Modern warfare has nothing romantic about it. It's not the old times when people were fighting, using fists or maybe swords, and you could talk about nobility and bravery. Now it's just who pushes the right button in the right moment, and there is nothing romantic, and it should be left to professionals. Because one professional in modern warfare can kill 100 inexperienced soldiers without any hint at romanticism about it. So basically, I would say that there are alarming signs of patience running out on both sides, unfortunately.
Well, what is your concern about other parties getting involved? I mentioned in the very beginning that Russia does have military and defense agreements with Armenia. It does have a military base there, but the troops are staying in their barracks. And I think that's sending a signal that Moscow doesn't want to see it internationalized. Turkey, again, another irresponsible actor in all of this. I don't know to what degree it's bravado and just for electioneering back home, but we do have Erdogan claiming that if Armenia asked for assistance, it would get it, and I presume that means everything is on the table. But we're not there yet. Is this something that you're worried about?
Well, of course, it's interesting. Turkey is. Turkey has sold to Azerbaijan these terrible drones, Bayraktar TB2 drones, which have shown themselves to be extremely effective, not only against troops, but they are just inspiring horror in civilian population. According to some estimates, more than one-half of Nagorno-Karabakh civilian population already fled to Armenia, because when they hear these drones, it's producing a very bad psychological effect. Even if people don't get killed, they get terribly scared. So basically,
is that the strategy? Do you think that's part of the strategy? Is just sowing so much fear in the civilian population that they would leave? Because that's really the crux of the matter here. We have to remind our viewers here. Nagorno-Karabakh is populated primarily by Armenians, though it is within the boundaries of Azerbaijan. And let's be very clear too, Armenia doesn't even recognize the independence of Nagorno-Karabakh, okay? So we have to be very clear what international law is here. But is that the strategy? Is this to terrorize the civilian population and just make it a political fact on the ground that, you're pushing the people out?
I understand. Well, I don't think so, because I would not demonize Azerbaijan's intentions in this situation. But the technology that they bought from Turkey and Israel, Bayraktar drones and also some Israeli-made drones, this technology somehow shows itself to be very effective against civilian population primarily, which tells you something about the people who devised these weapons. As for the population, it used to be mixed until 1994. There were Azerbaijanis, there were Armenians. Of course, the majority were Armenians, and this is how the Soviet Union started to crumble. In 1987, Armenians who made up the majority in Nagorno-Karabakh voted. Their small local parliament voted for joining Armenia, and that's how the whole thing started to unravel. And unfortunately, Gorbachev did not have the will or probably the power to stop this deadly process, which continues until now. Well, basically, on the level of legals, on the legal side, Azerbaijan has been more correct than Armenia, because formally these are their territories. And Aliyev, in his statements, he never said that we're going to, to sweep this population away. He said that they will be our citizens. There were Armenians living in Azerbaijan in the Soviet times, and we treated them well. So let them not be afraid. He even made a special appeal to Armenians living in Nagorno-Karabakh. But of course, this was all before the collapse of the Soviet Union. Armenians and Azerbaijanis lived together in Baku, in other places, in peace. But that was in another country, inside another framework. So I think, of course, the population there has reasons to be concerned. But I would say that we should really control the spread of Turkish and Israeli weapons, because this situation has shown that these weapons are designed to scare the population. They are not so much designed to win the battle. They are designed to hit at targets behind the enemy line, making life unbearable for people behind the lines. No one, for example, is saying that Soviet-made, Russian-made weapons had this effect. Both sides are using Kalashnikovs, both sides are using Soviet-made tanks, but that's for the front line. What I'm concerned about is the plight of civilians who get hit by these terrible drones, kamikaze drones, as they're sometimes called also.
Okay, so I mean, what's the next step here? I mean, return to Moscow talks? I mean, this has gone on much longer than I think you and I both expected here. But because primarily Azerbaijan has been able to upgrade its military because of its petroleum wealth here. And on top of it, I mean, the Azerbaijan accepting the status quo is an anathema to what they want. I mean, this is why it's called a frozen conflict. Trump got it completely wrong. There is no easy solution to this, and that's why it is a frozen conflict here. The good thing is, and we can end on this, the good thing is that Moscow has goodwill towards both the combatants here. Go ahead, finish up.
I would say that, of course, in the Russian media, there is more sympathy for Armenia for objective reasons. But look at the speech from President Putin at Valdai Club. He was very even-handed. And I would advise our viewers, if they want to know the Russian position, to go to the source. We do have free media, which is very emotional, and people are saying whatever they want. And of course, there are many calls to send in the troops, do something. That do something attitude is irresponsible. We have heard it from the Westerners in Syria, in Afghanistan, in Iraq. That do something won't work.
Well, that's not a substitution for policy. Absolutely.
So my hope is that there will be another meeting in Moscow between the foreign ministers, and I hope also military people from both sides will come and discuss. Right now, basically, even the Karabakh local leadership has acknowledged. They have shown a map where Azerbaijan already controls 2 of the 7 areas, which are not Nagorno-Karabakh proper, but which belong to the so-called Armenian security zone around Nagorno-Karabakh. If there can be an agreement, that this security zone will be gone, no one lives there now. It was created by Armenians in 1994 with a specific aim at protecting, Nagorno-Karabakh. If that area gets populated by Azerbaijanis again, I have nothing against it. Pashinyan also spoke about some attempt at exchange of security for territory, basically for this security zone. He spoke about it yesterday, I guess, and he mentioned negotiations in 2011, which were suggested by the Armenian side to Azerbaijan, and Azerbaijan had to stop it because of public opinion backlash inside the country. So if they could return to that formula, that would be the best, because, well, I expected, when it all started, I knew it would not be an easy one, as Trump says. I knew it would be bloody because Armenia has zero trust in Azerbaijan's intentions, and Azerbaijan has been put in a situation of humiliation for 26 years. So now they are kind of seeking a revenge. At least a lot of people that are seeking revenge. That has to be stopped by some kind of a compromise. And here we need real diplomacy. We don't need ultra-liberal ideology where one guy is always good and the other guy is always bad. That Hollywood kind of approach does not work in Transcaucasus. There are no Hollywood situations in Transcaucasus. So
That's a perfect way to end. There's no Hollywood solutions here. Dima, thank you very much for joining the Gaggle. And to viewers, if you like this, like, share, and subscribe. And we're going to keep our eye on the Nagorno-Karabakh.
Thank you.